Welcome to West Palm Beach, a city shimmering under the South Florida sun. Its modern skyline reflects in the tranquil waters of the Lake Worth Lagoon, a vibrant testament to progress and leisure. But to truly know this city, you must look past the polished present and listen to the whispers of its past. Across the water lies the legendary island of Palm Beach, a name synonymous with unimaginable wealth and Gilded Age glamour. For decades, West Palm Beach was seen as little more than its shadow, its mainland counterpart. The truth, however, is that one could not exist without the other, and their stories are forever intertwined. Our story doesn't begin with skyscrapers or railways, but with the land itself, long before any city was dreamed of. Here, where the wetlands met the coastal ridge, native peoples thrived for centuries. The Jaga and the Ace tribes called this coastline home, their lives intimately connected to the rhythm of the water and the seasons. Imagine the arrival of Juan Ponce de Leon in 1513, a moment of collision between two worlds. He found a land teeming with life, a network of 20,000 Native Americans whose thriving culture was on the verge of an irreversible and tragic change. Within 2 centuries, through conflict and disease, their world would be all but erased. As one chapter closed, another began with the arrival of the Seminole and Miccosukee people from the north. They sought refuge in the untamed Florida landscape, fiercely independent and determined to protect their way of life. They became symbols of resistance, clashing with settlers and the U.S. government in a series of wars that would stain the land with conflict. By the late 1800s, this land was known as the Lake Worth country, a wild frontier attracting a few hundred hardy settlers. They were a diverse collection of pioneers, carving out a life from the dense vegetation. They cultivated pineapples, tropical fruits, and winter vegetables, shipping their bounty north on the area's natural water highways. The fledgling community grew around the enclosed freshwater of Lake Worth, a place of quiet, hard-earned survival. A single hotel, the Coconut House, stood as a lonely beacon of hospitality. This was a land of grit and determination, a far cry from the luxury it would soon serve. Then came the man who would change everything, Henry Flagler. A titan of industry, Flagler was extending his Florida East Coast Railway south, a steel spine that would transform the state forever. He saw the opulent potential of the barrier island Palm Beach, but he knew his grand hotels would need an army of workers. And here lies the fascinating twist in our story, the very foundation of this city. West Palm Beach was not designed as a resort, but as a workers' town. It was platted in 1893 as a community to house the maids, butlers, carpenters, and laborers who would build and serve the grand hotels across the lagoon. Flagler purchased the town's original site for a mere $45,000 from 2 local settlers. He laid out a grid of streets for a city designed for service, a backstage for the magnificent theater he was creating on Palm Beach. This practical purpose would shape the city's identity for generations to come. On a historic day in November 1894, just 78 people gathered inside the Calaboose, the town's first jail, and voted to incorporate. This act made West Palm Beach the oldest incorporated municipality in South Florida, officially born 2 years before its now famous southern neighbor Miami. The town of servants had officially become a city. Immediately, the ramshackle tents and shanties gave way to sturdy brick and stone buildings. The city began to grow, its economy humming to the rhythm of the tourist season across the water. It was a place of industry, a support system for the paradise next door. The 1920s arrived like a tidal wave of prosperity, sweeping West Palm Beach up in the dizzying Florida land boom. The population quadrupled in just 7 years, as money flowed in and landmark buildings rose from the sandy soil. It seemed the sun would never set on this golden era. Elegant Mediterranean revival and mission-style homes sprouted up in new neighborhoods, each one a testament to the city's newfound ambition. West Palm Beach was no longer just a service town, it was becoming a destination in its own right, a place of stunning architecture and boundless optimism. But the boom times were built on a precarious foundation. Just as the speculative fever began to break, nature unleashed its ultimate fury. The city was directly in the path of the monstrous 1928 Okeechobee hurricane. The hurricane was a cataclysm. It devastated the city, tearing apart the beautiful structures built with such hope and bringing the era of unchecked growth to a terrifying halt. This single event would haunt the region for decades. The Great Depression followed, casting a long, quiet shadow over the battered city. Growth stalled, and the vibrant energy of the 20s faded into a memory. It wasn't until the world went to war that West Palm Beach would find its next purpose. World War II transformed the city into a strategic military hub. Palm Beach Air Force Base hummed with activity, its runways a vital link to the war effort in North Africa. The conflict came dangerously close, as German U-boats prowled the coast, sinking merchant ships in the dark waters just beyond the shore. The 1950s brought another boom, fueled by returning soldiers who'd fallen in love with the climate and the game-changing invention of air conditioning. Suddenly, year-round living in the tropics was not just possible, but desirable. The city's boundaries pushed west for the first time, away from its narrow coastal strip. This era of growth, however, also solidified deep divisions. The city's neighborhoods were strictly segregated, a painful legacy of social policy. While the city expanded, its heart remained confined by invisible lines. In the 1960s, a new kind of landmark arrived, the Palm Beach Mall. This enclosed, air-conditioned world was the future of retail. But in a cruel irony, its success began to siphon life away from the city's traditional heart, the downtown district along Clematis Street. The 70s and 80s saw downtown's slow, painful decline. Suburban sprawl pulled businesses and residents away, leaving behind high vacancy rates and urban blight. The once bustling city center became a hollowed-out shell of its former self. By the early 1990s, West Palm Beach had hit rock bottom. Its downtown was a ghost town, a place to be avoided after dark. The city that had survived hurricanes and depressions now faced a crisis of identity and purpose. But the story of West Palm Beach is a story of resilience. Starting in the 1990s, a bold vision for revival began to take shape. The city decided to fight for its heart, focusing on renovating the historic architecture of Clematis Street and imagining a new downtown. The result was City Place, a sprawling open-air shopping and entertainment district that brought life roaring back to the city center. It was a massive gamble that paid off, sparking a renaissance that continues to this day. The city was choosing reinvention over decay. In a perfect full-circle moment of history, the very mall that had once killed downtown fell into disuse itself. It was demolished and reborn as the Palm Beach Fashion Outlets, a testament to the city's ever-changing commercial landscape. The city's forward momentum was cemented with the arrival of Brightline in 2018. This sleek, high-speed rail service physically and symbolically reconnected West Palm Beach to the major hubs of South Florida, heralding a new era of growth and sophistication. Now that you know its epic history of booms, busts, and rebirths, let's walk through the living chapters of West Palm Beach. The city's soul is found in its historic districts, each one a neighborhood with a unique story to tell. Let's begin in El Cid, named for a Spanish hero by the socialite who developed it. Here, the ghost of the 1920s boom lives on in the stunning Mediterranean revival and mission-style homes, built on what were once vast pineapple fields. Stroll these streets and you can almost feel the heady optimism of the era. The ornate archways, red-tiled roofs, and lush courtyards speak of a time when Pittsburgh industrialists and northern investors sought to create their own slice of paradise. Now, let's explore Flamingo Park, once a pineapple plantation on one of the highest coastal ridges in the area. From the upper floors of these grand homes, residents could once see the glint of the Atlantic Ocean. This was the neighborhood for the successful local business owners of the 1920s. The architecture here is a beautiful tapestry of styles, from stately Mediterranean manors to charming mission-style houses. It stands as a proud monument to the builders and dreamers who shaped the city during its first great wave of prosperity. We now turn to Grandview Heights, one of the city's oldest and most authentic neighborhoods. Its collection of craftsman-style bungalows tells the story of the city's earliest workforce, the construction workers, ministers, and shop owners who built the luxury life across the lake. This neighborhood narrowly escaped demolition in the 1980s, a testament to its residents' fighting spirit. Today, it serves as a precious living museum of the city's humble and hard-working origins. The story of the Northwest District is one of profound significance and resilience. Established in 1894 when the Black community was forcibly moved from Palm Beach, it became the vibrant, self-sufficient heart of the city's segregated African American population. The architecture here tells a different story, of shotgun houses, Bahamian vernacular, and craftsman bungalows. Homes like the Alice Frederick Mickens House stand as landmarks not just of design, but of community leadership, philanthropy, and the fight for education and civil rights. Finally, we visit Old Northwood, a neighborhood of extravagant homes designed during the height of the 1920s boom. This was the address for the city's elite, mayors, professionals, and entrepreneurs, with some homes designed by the same famed architects who built the palaces of Palm Beach. The meticulously restored homes in Old Northwood showcase the peak of architectural ambition from that era. Walking its streets feels like stepping back into a time of limitless possibility and daring design. From the grassy waters nature preserve that safeguards its drinking water to the bustling downtown core, West Palm Beach is a mosaic. It is a city defined not by a single identity, but by its many layers of history, struggle, and spectacular transformation. So as you enjoy the warm breezes and vibrant culture, remember the story beneath your feet. A story of servants who built a city, of pioneers who tamed a wilderness, and of a community that has proven, time and again, its remarkable capacity for a brilliant second act.